This video concerns leadership, power and control. We're going to look at what are the sources of power that give leadership the authority to lead. So, leadership comes with power. A person has the power to influence others to follow their views. That's a leader. A leader is someone who can influence others to be followers. So the leader leads. Leaders may gain power because their subordinates consider them knowledgeable within their field. So that's a possible source of the power that the leader exerts. It could be that the others, the followers, see them as teachers or very knowledgeable people who can be trusted to lead them in a particular direction, so that it's in their mutual interest to go in this direction. So leaders exert power because perhaps of their knowledge. French and Raven introduced 5 bases of power. Now this model explains that power can be separated into, as I said, 5 aspects. The model illustrates the impact of each power and how different power affects leadership and team success. Now the French and Raven's 5 sources of power, well, there's positional power, and positional power is legitimate power, which I'll explain all of these later. The rest of the class, in fact, will be given over to explaining these different types of power. So we have reward power and coercive power. So we have legitimate power, reward power, coercive power, and then we've also got personal power, which is expert power, and we've got referent power. And that's the 5 sources of power according to French and Raven. And as I said a moment ago, the rest of this session will be looking at each of these. And we're going to start by looking at legitimate power and see what's meant by legitimate power. The idea that a leader has the right to demand from employees or they may receive punishment. So the leader has a right to demand particular working methods or practices or particular disciplines at work, and if the employees don't conform to that, they may be punished. They may receive less bonus at the end of the month, or they may be moved to a position or a job that they don't like, which could be construed as part of constructive dismissal. They're removed in a way that alienates them from their employment and they will want to leave the company, perhaps. So legitimate power is when somebody can do this. They have got the right to move people or order people to act in a particular way. And if the people don't do that, they can be punished. This type of power is only present based on the leader's position, not the leader. If the position goes, so does the authority. So the managing director can require managers to act in a certain way. But he or she can only do that because he or she is the managing director. It's the managing director who's doing it, not, in a sense, the person. The power comes from the position. So the position backs up the authority, and that's how this type of power runs. It's a common form of power within organizations. The status of the particular job gives power, which enables that person to get others to do certain tasks and conduct the tasks in certain ways. And they get that power because of the position itself, because of the, if you like, the title. The managing director is the managing director. The divisional head is whatever. The marketing director is responsible for marketing, and all the people working in marketing must follow the rules of the marketing director. The power comes from the position. It may lead to some sort of aggression and disputes within the workplace. Sometimes people may disagree with the authority, or may disagree with the edicts of the person. So it's not collaborative. It is not inclusive. It doesn't involve the team. It doesn't involve discussions and listening to other points of view. It's power. It's legitimate power, and it's legitimized by the position the person holds, and they give orders based on that. So it can lead to misunderstandings, and it can lead to disruption in the flow of activities and work because of misunderstandings. I say misunderstandings, it simply may bubble down to out and out disagreement about certain requirements. So legitimate power is not inclusive. It doesn't involve discussions. It doesn't involve agreement. It's not team-based. Reward power. Well, a reward such as, let's say, promotion or praise or a bonus, it could be career development opportunities. There are several types of reward, and it's the ability to reward people that may motivate them. So leadership may be based on this. It may be that the leader gets cooperation from the workers by offering rewards, perhaps a bonus at the end of the month, or recognition that they have done a good job. So the leader receives his or her power through his or her ability to recognize jobs well done and pick out individual workers for praise or for promotion or for bonuses, or for recognize what they've done, and in so doing it engenders more commitment. A reward system can become ineffective if employees receive the same rewards for all their positive work. There's the problem. The problem is that the reward system has to be varied. If somebody does good work continuously, do they receive continuous rewards? Or is that now part of their remuneration? And if they receive the same rewards, it's not varied, so they don't feel anything special. They're doing what they've always done, and now they expect the same reward. But if they get praise all the time, they will eventually think, well, thank you very much, I've had a lot of praise, now I want some monetary reward. So it could actually lead to problems. So the reward system has to be worked out carefully. It has to be thought out. Rewards have to change with the needs of employees in order to keep them motivated. So the employees need to experience different types of reward. And the rewards should also not be impossible to get, but they must not be too easy. Because if they're very easy, they're not going to be valued very highly. So it's like anything with value, they should be scarce. But when a job is very well done, some reward should be offered. If the job is very well done in the next month, perhaps a different reward is offered, different form of recognition. But if that person has a natural aptitude to perform the task well every month, then it raises the question, should that person be rewarded every month? Expert power. Well, this type of power involves having expert knowledge in the field. So the leader is seen as an expert. And that's why the workers follow him or her. These people are respected and valued because they are able to come to the rescue. When a task breaks down, because these people have expert power, they can come in and fix it, get it going again. They are the ones who understand the processes completely. They're the ones who can evaluate new proposals very quickly. So leaders with expert power derive their power from their expertise. They derive it from their ability to problem solve. They always have the answers and are able to effectively resolve a dispute because they know they are the experts. It allows leaders to perform to the best of their ability. If they have expert knowledge, they perform well as leaders. It improves leadership skills because they have authority. They know, and it's very difficult for someone to question them or prove them wrong because they have got the skill in this particular task. Referent power. Well, celebrities and politicians possess this type of power. They have the power to influence individuals because they have a likable personality, a charm or charisma, and admiration. So people become leaders because they've got this. They stand out from the crowd. It's based on a likability factor. It can also be easily abused by the individual to gain personal advantage. So it has to be monitored. Care has to be taken. That if people feel that they are very popular, they may exploit the situation for monetary gain, for example. If people are working in the public interest and they have a very charismatic persona, the danger is that they start to work for themselves as well. But certain people have got this and they get power by virtue of having those traits. A person with this type of power may not necessarily have the right qualifications, skills and experience to perform their responsibilities. And that's the odd thing. We see footballers who are very good as footballers, but they may be making statements about politics. Or we might have very good musicians, excellent musicians, who want to solve the world's problems. But they haven't got the training, the background, the understanding. But because they are such good musicians or good footballers or whatever it is, people listen to them and they get referent power. Coercive power. Well, it's the most ineffective power. It causes dissatisfaction and demotivation in the workplace. It's coercive. It's forceful. Do it. Do this task now. I want it done now. It's that type of power. It's coercive. If it's not done to a proper standard by the end of the day, you don't come back here tomorrow. So it's coercive. It causes dissatisfaction and it's very demotivating. It's giving threats and punishments and tries to run the business on the basis of threats and punishments. People who do not conform to the edicts of the person giving this coercive, who has this coercive power, these people run the threat of losing their job, losing their livelihoods. So the threats could include being fired, being demoted, or just generally treated unfairly. It can lead to problems within the workforce, and it can also lead to abuse. So this type of power, it demotivates the workforce. It can lead to a loss of efficiency. There's disruptive behaviour on the part of the workforce. They don't like the person who's using their authority in this coercive manner. So it's generally not efficient, and it leads to a lot of bad will. So effective leaders are ones that use referent and expert power. That's what we've learned. Referent and expert power are the best types of power to have, and leadership should be based on these. If individuals have an understanding of the different types of powers, they can recognize the type of power that they themselves hold. So it's important for leaders to understand that there are different types of power and try to see which one that they have got. And develop their leadership abilities by using the power to their advantage and to the advantage of the business. So if they understand the type of power they've got, if it's expert power, then develop their leadership based on that to their own advantage and to the advantage of the business and to the advantage of the workforce. So what we have done in this class is looked at different types of power which underpin leadership. And we've identified referent and expert power as probably the best types of power. The coercive power being the least desirable. The celebrities and that type of power is interesting, but in business it may not be that effective. So we've now got a basis for the power upon which leadership rests. And that's all we're going to do in this session. So I'm going to leave it at that and say thank you for watching.